Hey everyone, my name is John. Beside me is Joe.
How's everybody doing?
On today's episode of Sports Revolution, we're going to be discussing the upcoming divisional matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals.
Coming up this Saturday at 8 o'clock out in Glendale, Arizona.
This is going to be a good game.
This is going to be a fantastic game. I'm very excited to see this one.
Yeah.
I think the main storyline heading into this Saturday's game is Green Bay going to be able to maintain this level of play like they did against the Redskins last weekend? Because the Redskins and the Cardinals are completely different teams.
Yes, that's the big question. Did they fare well against Washington because they have a subpar defense, or has the offense finally awoken?
I honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. Because Washington tends to play a lot more of a conservative defense, specifically zone defense. And zone defense is where Aaron Rodgers actually will burn each and every time, given the good receivers that he has.
Yeah.
But I will credit Green Bay, though. They played very lackluster since week 5, which ended up costing them the division and ended up costing them even a home field advantage in the first round, which they excel in. That's kind of bad news for Green Bay.
Yeah, they allowed the Minnesota Vikings to pummel them in that final week.
To give credit to Green Bay, though, Green Bay did kind of get that momentum back. I think having that Washington game was kind of that measuring stick game for them to face Arizona. Aaron Rodgers started to look a lot more comfortable in the pocket, finding his receivers each and every way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Washington, they're in it just because the rest of their division was not that great. They were just there because there had to be a winner in the NFC East.
Yeah, they had a 9-7 record. The rest of the division played pitifully. That's why they ended up in there. Of course, you don't want to take anything away from the team because they do have some talented players on that team. Jordan Reed, I think, was arguably the best tight end in the league this year when healthy.
When healthy, that's the big thing.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins excelled as well.
I actually like Kirk Cousins. I think he's the better fit into Washington's system.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, they've had a little revolving door of quarterbacks themselves, but I mean, I'm not going to say they weren't really a well-established team. I want to say they just kind of I think they were just the type of team that just wasn't really ready for that type of spotlight this year.
Yeah, they were just outmatched by Green Bay.
And Washington, like you mentioned earlier, they did have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they can't play zone defense all the time.
No.
But moving on into the game, particularly this Saturday, Arizona is a much different team, like I said before.
They're a much better team.
They're very, very aggressive.
Yes, in every respect, in every aspect of the game. They've got a good passing offense. They've got an excellent rushing offense with David Johnson now at the helm. They've got a great quarterback in Carson Palmer, the Renaissance man who's had a career year.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to have their fans behind them hot in the desert.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really difficult matchup for Green Bay.
Yeah, how's Green Bay's defense going to stop them? They've got a core trio. They got Larry Fitzgerald, they got Michael Floyd, and they have John Brown. In addition to David Johnson, who can run the ball and catch the ball.
He's the hybrid halfback that any football team, you want to have that on your team in case you're trying to build a team. Whether it's fantasy, whether it's Madden, whatever it is. Get somebody who's hybrid, and David Johnson is your example right there.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get a lot done. And Green Bay's defense, that hasn't been one of their strengths this year. They've also had a general lack of running offense. Eddie Lacy didn't really come through all that well this year.
Not as much as I expected. I definitely expected a lot more out of Eddie Lacy.
I think people wanted a huge performance out of him. We got a couple of 100-yard games, but there was so much inconsistency that we'll see if he can be relied on for this upcoming matchup. And then James Starks has been inconsistent as well. He gets more work in the passing game, but it'll be interesting to see which of the running backs they choose to utilize more.
Exactly. Here are my key players that I think who's going to basically take charge in this game. Number one, going to Green Bay, it's going to have to be Aaron Rodgers. He's going to have to keep up this level of play once again in order to surpass Arizona. If not, if he's lucky, if he can even outdo Arizona at this point. My key player for Arizona, I'm going with Carson Palmer, the quarterback on the other side. Carson Palmer has only had 2 playoff appearances, and he lost them both. This is going to be the game of his career, and he's going to have to really turn it up a notch.
Yeah, agreed. So, my key players for the upcoming matchup. For Green Bay, it's absolutely going to be all about Aaron Rodgers. Can he command this team? Can he rally them together? I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think Arizona is going to continually drop points on them because Green Bay's defense is not all that great. And I think Green Bay is going to be forced to take the ball to the air if they want to keep up. And that's going to fall to Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see whether or not he's able to rise to the occasion and carry that momentum they have.
He has done it in the past, and I know he can do it, but this is Arizona we're talking about. This is a much different team than he faced against Washington. This is also a different core that he's working with as well. So
yeah, Jordy Nelson.
So a lot of this falls on Aaron Rodgers in the end.
Yeah. So for Arizona, I'm actually going with a different pick. I'm selecting David Johnson. And the reason why I'm picking him is because even though Carson Palmer is the one throwing the ball, David Johnson can both, like you said, he's a dual threat. He can catch the ball and he can run the ball. And because Green Bay's defense really isn't all that great in either respect, they get a poor run defense, they get a poor passing defense. I think that they could potentially lean on David Johnson and rout the Packers, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see if Arizona can pull a little bit of a wildcat formation out of their sleeve with David Johnson and Carson Palmer. That'd probably be honestly a Bill Belichick move if you ask me.
Yeah.
But for the final score, it is going to be absolutely a high-scoring affair because Arizona's got a lot of offensive weapons, and Green Bay Aaron Rodgers still has a long career ahead of him, in my opinion. But I think it's going to be Arizona being the favorites. 31-21 is my call.
Well, it's close to my pick. So I also pick Arizona. I think Arizona's going to end up trouncing Green Bay. I think they're going to beat them by a final score of 35-21.
Okay, very good. And that's going to wrap up our analysis here for the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals in this NFC divisional matchup this Saturday at 8 o'clock. On our next segment that we're going to cover, it's going to be between the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers on a Sunday, another exciting NFC divisional matchup. For Jon and Joe, thank you for catching Sports Revolution, and we'll see you next time.